So let me tell you, the government of India was very cautious from the very beginning itself. They were deciding that the most important aspect is to go for a quarantine, a close down. So I think in March 19th itself, the Prime Minister interacted with the chief ministers, and then he said that the whole of India will be closing down for at least 10 days. So that was the minimum. And the state governments were also, so we are around 28, 29 state governments, and all of them absolutely followed the directions. And the instructions were also given to the religious institutions. Most of the religious, irrespective of whether they are Christians or Hindus or Muslims, Sikhs, everybody was accepting what the scientific discoveries were absolutely right. And this is a very special case, and we need to follow the government directives. But I must say that, all on a sudden, without much prior preparation, the close down was declared. So therefore, many people were stranded. There were many of these workers, migrant workers from many places. They were stranded. There were not opportunities for them to stay, and also for them to have food. And they were also feeling a kind of let down. So at this moment, I must say that irrespective of the religious institutions, denominations, they were all started supporting the government. So not only the Christian communities, there are also other Christian communities like Church of South India. Then in addition to the Catholic Church, then also the Sikh communities, the Hindu communities, the Muslim communities, they were in the forefront in supporting those stranded people, giving them support and confidence. So we can say that the whole of India were together in fighting against this unprecedented crisis time.
I think it's a typical situation in India, as you told me once, that India is a melting point of cultures, of religions, and so all work together to fight this challenge. Very interesting, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. As we were coming together through the cyberspace, and I must say that people from all other continents, even from Europe, from Africa, and even from United States, from all over, we were coming together. So this mosaic, as you said, that India, we have spread it further, expanding it into kind of a globalized mosaic from all part of the world. We were because we were all suffering. So that's this became a kind of a point of contact, and also that made us together to experience and share. So, but I have heard that, earlier in times of Father Damien, when there was leprosy and all, those people were involved and they were giving themselves. So such kind of situations, priests courageously going and supporting the bereaved or the sick, anointing the sick, distributing the communion. Those things were not publicly visible and not known to me. So I am sure that there, and though many of the people, they will not be available through the social media, so therefore they could not directly get the pastoral care. So there was something that is really missing. I must say that the believers, they have a hope that the others, non-believers, they have a hope in the medicine. I think that that might be a big difference that created. The believers hope that, there is someone to protect them, whatever be the situation, whatever be the dire consequences, there is someone beyond us who will either take care of us, whatever is happening to us. Definitely, God is there either to protect or to give them a better life. So whatever be, so they have a peace of mind and that hope that leads them to a better choice of life and to confront the present situations. But unfortunately, the non-believers, I think that, they have the hope in the medicine. Unfortunately, the medicine, there is no remedy. So there was a secular uh, criticism that religion and spiritual systems are eliminated because of the crisis, and only science can save. But science itself, when it was confronted by the corona, they could not even detect what exactly, how it happened, and then what are the means for it. So therefore, both I would say that, the science and the religion's weaknesses have been established. So that means everyone was at a loss how to confront these situations. Neither science nor the religion, that is the medical, nor the spiritual, to give support to the individuals. So we are all at a loss and we were all bewildered. Maybe we need to relook at the whole scenario from a post-corona perspective. And we have yet to find a new culture, maybe that is need-based, that it is not greed-based. This is what our religious traditions in the Christianity, as well as that of the Buddhist, Hindu, and the Jain traditions, and the other religious traditions are claiming. This is what now the corona has taught us. The need of selflessness, the need of sharing, and also the compassion and the love. I think these are some of these important aspects as a human being we have to recover. I think there is a direct connection between the environment and the corona crisis, because we saw that maybe from the enlightened time onwards, we have especially the reinterpretation of Christianity in terms of the universe is a mechanism by the Newtonian science, and then we have the industrialization, and then nature is devised as a clockwork. That means we can dissociate and then associate, and it is for us, the nature is to use, and then later it became a misuse, and then ultimately to a kind of abuse. The whole universe is given to us because Adam was asked to name. So the interpretation went in such a way that we can dominate, we can exploit, and the whole nature was considered as simple matter, and it is for the human being. So that has gone to such an extent, and then the power of science and technology, and we have come across to this globalization that everything is just for us, the humans. And then we see the backlash. The seas were rising, and the um, glaciers were melting, and then the nature was exploding. So this could be considered as a kind of a natural calamity evolving from this complex which we ourselves constructed. So we ourselves have fallen into the deep trap, or maybe a dungeon which we were just mining. and then we have just fallen into that. And I think this greed, I must say that, you know, the greed, and also the philosophy of capitalism. This is what, and this is what I think Pope Francis, in his encyclical Laudato Si, he was claiming that he is all the isms, they were in such an extent that social injustice and this exploitation, so that has come, and that nature has no presence. It has been at the expense of humanity. So we were using and abusing it as a mere material reality, just for the sake of the human being. And though there were concepts like, you know, we are the stewards, but now there was a forceful break. And it is not a huge animal like, you know, the blue whale or the elephants, but a very small microbe that has showed us our weakness and what is our power. We are nothing. And I think this is what the corona, which is a very tiny virus, that has taught us you are nothing. This is what we have to learn from this is corona time. And you might have been aware that, you know, we have the great scientists like Dawkins. They were saying that, you know, science is everything. Science is the new religion. And God delusion, and the books like that, they were claiming that science is the new religion, and we can interpret everything, and we are controlling the universe. But that euphoria, and they could not even make the medicine, they could not even make a small vaccine, and then they could not even detect. And then how to counter it? The science actually in front of it bewildered, nothing. So it shows that the power of nature, and the power of nature, not by any other bigger animal or anything, but the tiny speck has shown us we are nothing greater than a dust. And I think this is what the humility we have to learn. And also we are coexistent. There is a beautiful saying from Gabriel Marcel: we exist to coexist. To coexist is to proexist. That means our existence is with others, and also for the others.